What's up, bankers?
Hello, bankers.
How is everybody doing?
How are we doing? Chaos at the Brazilian Grand Prix. Chaos at Interlagos. My boy, Lando Norris, now has a pretty healthy lead.
Our boy, Lando Norris.
Yeah, Matt has officially jumped ship.
No.
Go get him. Go get him for the Piastri Nation.
I have always believed in Lando Norris. That is not true. And I just want to say to all the people out there, you doubted him. You didn't think he had it in him. After he botched start after start and said annoying thing after annoying thing and just looked like a choke artist this whole time, I knew that was a wolf in sheep's clothing, and this was all a ruse to make all of y'all look stupid.
Yeah. And dude.
And now how do you feel now? Y'all are feeling pretty stupid. Y'all are all feeling pretty stupid.
Yeah. How are all of you Lando haters
hiding? I was also pretending.
That's right.
This is like undercover boss. Ha ha.
Yeah.
Ha ha. Lando.
Yeah, you were a Lando stan all along.
I was in a Lando. He's a killer all along. I've been a Lando stan all along. This was honestly, Brian, we talked about this before. You were going to be a Lando stan, and I was going to be an Oscar stan for the podcast. But now,
right. Yeah, this is all
like wrestling. This is like wrestling. Now I reveal myself to have been Lando stan this whole time. See, I'm a genius. I knew this was going to happen, and then I was going to reveal myself, and everyone was going to lose their minds in a positive way. This is going to go really well, what I'm doing right now.
So are you officially retiring the Piastri Delulu hat, Matt? Because I think that there's some Oscar Piastri Delulu takes that I hope I'm going to get from you this episode, or are you fully abandoned ship here?
What I can do is I can inhabit. I'm a chameleon.
Yeah.
I'm like JD Vance. I just go with whatever is going to look the best, honestly.
That's right.
So like in any moment I could just tilt up, and then I got this killer shirt on. Right. And I got Oscar Piastri. I will say this about Oscar Piastri that we won't say about Lando Norris. Took 2 pictures with our intern. 2 separate occasions, took 2 pictures with our intern.
That's right.
Who must be devastated right now because she didn't have the foresight that we all did, that he was going to somehow be the second coming of Ayrton Senna when it came to starts all of a sudden. Because we all knew that was going to happen. We all
That's
knew.
Right, dude. Throw a start
at
Lando Norris, bitch. Throw a start at him. Of course.
Throw multiple starts at Lando Norris.
That's right. How many starts can he nail? Who knows? We got 4 more races because there's a sprint race to come. Who knows how many starts Lando Norris will absolutely nail? 10 out of 10. This is, of course, the red flags brought to you by BetMGM. Matt is in a state of psychosis. He's having a split personality syndrome because his world has crumbled in front of his eyes, and Lando Norris, Matt, all he had to do was tune out the haters, dude. He had to tune out the haters, and I couldn't help but feel like he was talking directly to my co-host, and I was even feeling a little bit like, hey, don't talk about my friend, Lando, okay? Matt can say whatever he wants about you, okay?
No. Let me say this. I want to say to him, you're welcome, because as a Lando fan, I was giving him the fire that he needs, because he's had such an easy life, right? So I gave him the chips. So what I have to say to Lando now is you're welcome, because as a Lando fan, I knew that he needed, like tough Jordan love. Needed haters, like LeBron needed Skip Bayless, right?
Right.
Because let's remember, LeBron was considered a choke artist, right? Before he went to Miami and did the damn thing. In Cleveland, he was too nice a guy. He passed too much. Remember those narratives about LeBron?
That's right.
Like Lando needed to skip Bayless, like LeBron needed to skip Bayless, Lando needed me.
Yeah, you did it because you loved him, dude.
Just like I think Skip Bayless literally loves LeBron, he just can't admit it.
Right.
He's jealous of him weirdly. I love Lando, and I did this to help him because he needs adversity, because pressure makes diamonds. That's what I was doing. So I feel seen and heard. And you know what? You know how Batman had to become the villain to sit in at the end, like when Harvey Dent went bad and Batman kills him, and he was like, I'm doing that. I'm becoming the bad guy, even though secretly I'm a hero because I'm the hero that Lando needs, not necessarily.
That's right. You're the Dark Knight, dude. I'm the Dark Knight. You are Jesus dying for the sins of Lando. You're dying on the cross for the sins of Lando Norris. Hey, don't abandon your boy, okay? There's I can't believe that. Am I going to be the person here calling for British bias from the fucking stewards? What's happening?
Also, yes. There's no point in supporting Oscar Piastri if they're just going to hand it to Lando Norris. Why even bother supporting a guy when clearly they're just going to fucking hand it to him? Clearly, they don't want Oscar even because here's the thing. First of all, I wanted to say one thing. I want to say a couple things.
Just one thing. I think you got.
If Max pulled that shit,
spinning out.
Okay. First of all, that call was bullshit. If Max pulled that shit, they would have.
Yes.
I'm serious. If Max pulled that shit, they would have never called it. They would have never called it. Max has done all kinds of aggressive. You're going like this, but he's done that shit all the time. That was such bullshit. Kimi Antonelli had so much space on the other side. There was so much room, and it's not Oscar's fault that Kimi fluffed the start. Kimi had a terrible start. Oscar was right there. It wasn't like Kimi had nowhere to go. He had so much room. Like, seriously, it wasn't like there wasn't enough room for all of them. There was plenty of room. And for the stewards to just decide, like, just fuck up the entire championship, like, he's complete, like, now, like, even if Oscar wins every race, like, something has to happen for him to win the championship. For them to make like, that was a borderline call. You're even going like, it could have gone either way. But for them to go, let's just completely fuck the championship over when it was a coin flip, it's completely ridiculous. I don't think these stewards know what they're doing. There was that Bearman, Liam Lawson thing where they were like, we're not sure. Let's give them both penalties. I'm like, if you're going to give them both penalties, why don't you just give them neither of them penalties? It's like, what?
Right.
It's like, it's giving, you don't know what to do. So you're just, when it's giving like when the refs point two different ways when the balls go out of bounds. It's like giving that they don't know what they're doing. They each throw flags at two different things. It's giving like they don't know what they're doing. And if you're not incentivizing when the race is decided in the first turn, if you're not going to incentivize those moves, then like what are we doing? Because the guy who's got the lead in that first, it's over. Like you have to, you can't discourage turn one moves. You just can't, because what else is there really? Like otherwise, like there's never going to be a contention for the lead given the clear air. There isn't like, maybe I'll get him later on straight. It never happens. There's too much clear air. Like you can't punish a guy who tries something like that. You just can't.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely a topic of discussion. I think they couldn't ignore the like. I think they couldn't. I couldn't think they couldn't ignore the like. They were like, oh look, the tire, Smokey off the tire. He must be one who's in the wrong.
They couldn't ignore that Leclerc was taken out of the race.
That's also true. They played the result.
Oscar's fault. It wasn't Oscar's fault that Antonelli didn't like. There was room. Like Antonelli turned in, he could have accommodated, like he's not entitled to that space anymore because he fluffed the start. Also, the other thing that really makes me upset is that Jenny pointed this out, is that Ted Kravitz talked to McLaren and they were like, well, the penalty could have gone either way. And I'm like, okay, you're trying to like dispel rumors that you don't favor Lando Norris. Like Christian Horner would have burned the steward's office to the ground. That's why Max gets all the calls, because they don't want to deal with the bullshit. They don't want to deal with it. They don't want the smoke. Like they don't want to deal with a guy as powerful as Christian Horner coming down on them in the press, doxing them, doing whatever, calling them out by name, like blowing them up. Like, and Zach Brown has that kind of power, and he chooses not to use it. He chooses to keep his nose clean, and like that only strengthens people's cases that he doesn't give a fuck about Oscar Piastri. Because if he really gave a fuck, he would go to the mat when and he would go to the mat when this shit happened. He would have made their lives hell after Silverstone when there was a sort of toss up call, like it wasn't a slam dunk either way. But he kind of just said, not what I would have done. But no, he didn't. And then guess what? It's like they set a precedent that they're just going to like say, I respect the refs. And then this happens. So it's like, I don't think they're fucking with their car, with Oscar's car, but it's like shit like that. Shit like in Silverstone that just makes you believe that they really don't back him that much. So that's the other upsetting part of it. Is like they just lay down. They don't fight it. They don't get it. They don't try. They don't get ahead of it. They don't do anything, and it's really demoralizing. And it sucks. Yeah, that's all I have to say. These fucking stewards shouldn't be deciding the championship on like a 50-50 call. They shouldn't be doing that. Bullshit.
Yeah, I mean, I think when I first saw that move, I thought that Oscar was to blame just because I was like, oh, he locked up. He was trying to make an overtake. He wasn't in control of the car. And then you look back at it, you kind of dissect it. You do see how much room on the right Kimi had. And you also recognize that maybe part of Oscar locking up was the fact that Kimi was turning in, so he had to hit the brakes especially hard, which maybe caused him to lock up. Even Leclerc, after the race, said that, he thought that was harsh on Oscar, and, he thought that Kimi was just as much to blame for that situation. And for the guy who's like, I think you're right. The stewards, they do play the result. They say, okay, well, there's a body on the side of the road here, and his name is Charles Leclerc, and he's touching his tires. Someone's got to go to jail here, and they needed to find a person to blame. And Oscar had the smoky tire, and he was making the move, didn't have the control,
but he was on the inside,
and so they put that blame on him.
But he was on the inside. Like the guy on the inside has the right to be there. That's in the rules. And he was alongside, and he only hit the brake after he was like, okay, Jesus, this guy's about to turn in on me. That was, he didn't like, it's like one thing to like lock up going into the turn. It's another thing to start turning, and then you're like, uh-oh, and then like hit the brakes. So I think it's complete horseshit. Complete horseshit. And,
I think he had a great restart. Lando Norris just he caught everyone by fucking surprise, and, chaos ensued. This is what happens when you're fucking championship material and the one Lando Norris, and you can kind of, dictate the events of the race at will. That's kind of what happens. But okay, there's larger championship discussion to be had, but there's also, even though it seems like he may be out of this thing, just points wise, it's getting that much more improbable. But fucking Max Verstappen today, dude.
Yes.
I mean,
the people's champion.
For him to start, so obviously, the sprint happens. He's not happy. He's pissed off. He's like, we weren't fast enough in the sprint. We need to change the car. They changed the car for qualifying, and the car is a fucking mess. And for the first time, apparently, in history, Max Verstappen is out in Q1 on pace in his entire Formula One career since 2015. It's been 10 years, and this is the first time he's out in Q1. And given the fact that it wasn't going to rain, because I was like, I think everyone thought, well, if it rains, Max could start 3 laps down and he'd still win this shit. But given the fact that it was not going to rain, it was going to be dry, I mean, I don't know what hopes I had. Oh, maybe he'll get 5th in a miracle drive. But for him to get 3rd and almost get 2nd was, it's the stuff of legends. These are the kinds of races, even in losing seasons, that you point to and you say, yeah, but Max Verstappen, for sure. Lando looks like he's got a hand on the championship right now. Oscar's still ahead, but like, it's still Max's world and they're all just living it. Even Lando was kind of like annoyed after the race at how well Max did. He was like, yeah, like, fuck, I just thought we'd be quicker than Max today, given that he was starting from the pit lane. And he, Max still just fucking.
Well, no, that's not what he said, though, right? He said, I don't think we had the quickest car today. And I was like, you didn't have the quickest driver today. Like, I don't know, like, why he thought. He said something like that I found kind of annoying. I was like, well, you put it on pole.
Matt. You're a Lando fan. I don't know if you remember.
That's right.
You're a Lando fan.
That's why it kills me when he says these things.
You never found anything that he did annoying. This was all a ruse.
That's right. But now that
I'm just trying to keep you. I'm just trying to keep you in character. This is called the method. This is called method acting.
I know, but now that he's champion, he's got to start acting like one, right?
Right. Sure.
And champions are like, well, we actually didn't have the fastest car today, and Max actually had the fastest car. I'm like, what are you doing, bro? What are you doing? Like, just that's what you're gonna say when Max, like, whatever. I mean, he can't win because when he says Max is the best, then he also looks like a bitch.
Yeah, it's like, fucking really can this guy catch a Matt? Can this guy catch a fucking break? I thought that it was a good thing that he said, like, yeah, like he wasn't up there like, yeah, it was pretty fucking easy. He was like, there's still work for us to do. I'm focused on how we can get better. I'm focused on this. I'm proud that, even though we weren't as quick today as I hope we would, we still won this race. To me, that reads champion, but it's a Rorschach test. This is what Lando is. He could be a fucking Rorschach test. You fucking see a blob and you say that's a bitch, and I say that's a champion, and that's just kind of what the kid is. Sometimes it feels like he's got his fucking nuts in a vice and he can't win with anyone. God damn it. He's going to be your champion, Matt. He's going to have the number 1 on his car next year. Get used to it, baby.
Yeah. But I guess there's a question of, like, what does this performance of Max, like, where does that put this championship? And this is something people, this kind of, because I think when you see, like, Schumacher or Alonso, there's this feeling of, like, okay, this is a changing of the guard. You get these moments where when Schumacher, like, Senna passed away, but, like, when Alonso took over from Schumacher, you're like, okay, this is the end of the Schumacher era.
Yes.
Or you have, like, moments where it's like Häkkinen wins and you're like, well, this isn't really a changing of the guard. It's like, okay, Schumacher didn't have it this year car-wise.
I think that's a little bit more what the situation is here, because Max Verstappen's still in his prime. Like when Schumacher took over for Senna, obviously Senna died, but Senna was also kind of like maybe starting to get a little bit long in the tooth. This is a new generation. Even when Alonso took over for Schumacher, there was a new generation kind of thing. It was like, maybe Schumacher, he's had his time, and now it's time for the new guard to come in. Even with and the same with Max and Lewis. When Max comes in 2021 and puts it to Lewis, it's kind of like, okay, this is the new young guy. Max is still in the prime. Like if Max wants to be in Formula One, which is suspect at this point to a certain extent, how much longer he wants to be in Formula One, like, he still has another 8+ to 10 years of prime performance in his, like, just based off of age. So certainly I don't think that certainly Formula One is still Max Verstappen's world and everyone else is just living in it. And it's a question of, how long can this little intermission from the Max Verstappen show go on for? Is it going to be just this year? Will they come out next year and be strong? Or will, they next year be a little bit of a wiping of the slate? Will Max leave Red Bull if they're not up to snuff? And can Max Verstappen be in a situation and be in a car to once again do what we all know that he can do, which is be the best driver in Formula One, which he is?
But I think if I'm Max Verstappen, I'm pretty excited about the damage I can do and how close I can get even when the car isn't there. Because now he knows, even when my car isn't that good, I can just put my head down and I always have a chance. Me. I always have a chance wherever I am on the grid, car wise. I can work on this thing. I can put my heads together with these engineers, and we can always find a way.
Yeah,
and I think that I don't know if every driver can say that. I think most drivers are more at the whim of their car, because he just seems to not take no for an answer when his car isn't there. Like, okay, we're going back. We weren't there in the sprint. Back to the drawing board. We weren't there in qualifying. Back to the drawing. It's like he just doesn't give up, and he finds every week he finds a fucking way to be in the conversation. And I think that's exciting. He must have had fun. That must have been cool.
Yeah, I mean, I think that would have been definitely a fun race. Even and he had the puncture. He had to come in for a pit stop before he wanted to. He was on hards, came in, threw on the mediums, and still was able to do it. I mean, I think even he was surprised. I mean, like, even in the post-race interview, he was like, I mean, yeah, I didn't think that a podium was on the board. And for him to say that, I mean, who knows how honest he was being in that moment. Maybe he walks into every single race thinking that I can win this no matter where I start from. But I think everyone, given the no rain, was. But we shouldn't be shocked at this point when Max Verstappen pulls this shit. We shouldn't be shocked.
I was shocked, but we shouldn't be, because I was like, yeah, no rain. He's going to finish 5th or 6th. But like, then he cut through he's immediately up to like 13th. Then he gets a puncture, and you're like, oh God. Then he had to restart. He had to start from the back twice, pit lane, then back, and then he's in the lead. And that's when I texted you guys, oh my God. Oh my God. That's why you guys are behind me. I texted you guys, oh my God. That was when I was like, wait, can he actually win this? And I think the commentators, at this point, they never write him off. Julian Palmer goes, he could maybe make these softs go to the end.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, oh my God, if he wins this, and I have a heart monitor on, because I have like a little bit of a heart thing, so they put a heart monitor on me. I'm like, I gotta see what's happening right now in posts. I want to look at what's happening, because I was going fucking apeshit. They must think there's something seriously wrong with me, because like he might actually win this shit from the pit lane, and you know that everybody was fucking relieved when they pit him, because I was like, I couldn't believe they pit him. I'm like, let them try to pass him. Let them.
I was so relieved when they pitted him. Yeah.
Thank you. Everybody was all his you gotta judge it by what the ops are thinking. The ops weren't like, oh no, he pitted. He's gonna have no. Everyone was happy that he pitted, because nobody wants to pass. I don't know. Fuck Delta. Nobody wants to pass that fucking animal.
Well, as
nobody wants to pass.
At the first time after they pitted Lando, and then Lando had to pass Max on track, you talk about your heart rate at that moment. My heart rate when Lando was like, and you're a second and a half behind Max, and you're gonna have to pass him on track, I was like, my heart was going through the fucking roof. I was like, oh my God. And then I was like, oh no. Then he did it, and I was like, I was audibly moaning in my apartment. I was like, oh God, oh thank God. And then for the idea that he was gonna have to do that again, I was like, oh God, because the second time, if they had kept him on those softs, that he was not going to go gentle into that good night.
Speaking of, like, forget our reaction to Max's greatness. Could you imagine, like, being Kimi Antonelli or or Lando Norris to get out of the pit lane and just see Max Verstappen there, not having seen the TV, and you're just like, how the fuck did he get there? Like, how? Like, at that moment, with no context, to just see him there. Because there were these moments that I was watching where these guys would come out of the pit lane and they probably had no idea. And they see him and they're like, that's got to be Yuki Tsunoda. That can't be. Yeah. No. I thought you were dead. Like, what must have been going through these guys' minds when they were like up in first class and they thought he was thrown overboard? And then he's like, no, I'm up here with you guys. I mean, they must feel like absolute shit about themselves, because they know in their heart of hearts that they could never in 1,000 fucking years go from the pit lane to the front. I mean, He's out there making these guys feel like shit. He has to, correct?
It's not even feel. It's more than feel like shit. It's terrifying. He's Michael fucking Myers, dude. Yeah. It's just you can run. You could think you've gotten rid of him. You can, it's just, and then he just appears from the wreckage unbothered, and is coming to fucking kill you. That's what Max Verstappen is. I mean, Kimi was saying it after the race. He was like, "Well, I didn't know how he got there. I mean, that's crazy. Is that not crazy to anyone else?" Everyone's like, Lando's literally the meme. He's like, first time. I mean, last year in Brazil, you hear the radios. He's asking them where Max is. During that whole race, when Max was starting like 17th and Lando's on pole and it's in the wet, he's asking his engineers, "Where's Max? Where's Max?" They're like, "Don't worry about Max. Don't worry about Max." And he goes, "Where is he? Where is he?" They're like, "He's not. Don't worry about him." And then all of a sudden they're like, "Max is 5 seconds behind me," and they're like, "Max is 5 seconds behind you." And Lando's like, "I fucking told you."
They're like the guy from Princess Bride at Wallace Shawn. Inconceivable. They think it's like it must be. I would be so fucking demoralized if I'm feeling good about. I'm Kimi Antonelli. I'm feeling good about myself. Look at me, P2.
Right.
I'm fighting for podium. And then I see Max just came from the fucking pit lane and he's chasing me down. Even though I beat him, there's still miles between us.
Kimi Antonelli's excited that he started P2 and finished P2. Meanwhile, Max Verstappen started in the pit lane and almost overtook Kimi for P2. There's levels to this shit.
Also, how panicked were you when Lando was behind Oscar for a second?
Screaming at the TV. I was like, McLaren, you fucking idiots.
And that was the other thing that upset me. I think that was the other thing that upset me was they didn't seem to have a good strategy with Oscar. They could have undercut Max. They left him out. Right. Until they couldn't undercut. And then they was behind Max. Like, they were just nowhere with his strategy. It seemed like they were maybe goal hanging for a safety car, and then it didn't come, and they were like, "Oh fuck!" and then he was behind Mac. Like, I feel like he could have gotten maybe one place higher with that penalty. I think P4 was on the table after that penalty, but I really don't think they did him any favors with because let's face it, none of these guys are Max Verstappen. Like, none of these guys can do the kind of overtaking that he can do with a tire delta. They just can't. So they should have thought of something. They should have undercut Max or something. I don't know. But it seems like they did nothing. I mean, that's what Julian Palmer was saying anyway.
Yeah. They certainly didn't throw a different strategy. I think people were surprised. I was surprised that they brought him in that early, given that it seemed like they were going to go for a one stop with him. It seemed like that was kind of, if you're going to do it, you'll go for that. It seemed like the hard tire was so bad that no one at the end of the race wanted to gamble on it.
Well, Alonso did and he got screwed.
Right. Yeah, it seems like the hard was just kind of nowhere today. So they were a little bit in a bind in terms of, if you're going to, they had him on mediums. They're kind of locked into a two stop unless they can let those first pair of mediums like go until lap 55 or something like that. I guess the only person who did a one stop was Liam. And Liam, let's see, where did Liam come in?
He finished one place ahead of Hajar.
Yeah, he did 19 laps on softs and then did the next like 50 something on a medium. So the mediums had 50 laps worth of pace on them. I guess in my mind, I thought that they were going to like just keep Piastri out on those mediums for a long time and then throw him on the softs at the end. Or at least at the end, you could have thrown him on softs again. If you were going to do a two stop, I don't know how many softs they had maybe in tow, but to give him
they had
at
fewer.
Least a little.
It was only Max at it,
had the extra soft because he didn't because he
qualified so badly.
Yeah, I mean, it was there was a lot there. I mean, even had Piastri, not gotten that penalty and gotten second place, still for the weekend would have been a 15-point swing in Lando's favor as opposed to a 25-point. Would have been up 16 points in the championship. I guess,
but it still would have been in his control. 15 points is like, okay, well, if you win out, you got it. It's yours. Now, even if he does that, they've screwed him. They've robbed him of that chance.
Yeah, I guess I just feel like I don't think the calculation of where we were earlier in the season, where it's just like, well, it's obviously going to be like a 1-2, is not necessarily what is given going into these weekends. Like, if Lando has a weekend like Oscar has had the last few weeks, and Oscar has a great weekend and puts it together, there is the opportunity for a big, point swing, especially in Qatar, given that there's a sprint race. And we know that that's where, Oscar won his first sprint race ever, was in Qatar. So, there's
I'm not
still,
saying
I guess,
out of the question.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's now out of his control. Like, him just winning every race is not enough.
Sure.
Which I don't think needed to be the case given that incident. So yeah, I think the stewards fucked this one up for multiple reasons.
Obviously, we know where Gunter is going to land on that category, given that it's
I don't know if Gunter's going to show up.
We're talking about the stewards.
Gunter's not as slimy or flexible as I am.
I don't know, dude. No. You both seem like you both can dodge. You both are like fucking Neo in the Matrix, bro. Just the cope sessions are strong. The cope is strong with these ones. But let's see. It wasn't only those three guys that were, the topic of discussion today. Obviously a nightmare weekend for the hometown kid, Gabriel Bortoleto. Just he started the week high. He's like, what's up, everyone? Max and I are besties, so yeah, that's pretty cool. And remember when Helmut Marko said that I was like bad? Well, Max Verstappen thinks I'm awesome, so fuck you. And we're gonna do a podcast. It's gonna do mega numbies, and we're gonna reveal the fact that Max Verstappen gives me like he gives me the leads, like in fucking Glengarry Glen Ross. Glenn who's got the leads. Max Verstappen's out here giving Gabriel Bortoleto the leads. And then obviously that crash was wild. Insane that he walked away from that completely fine. Because you see that crash and your eye says, well, there's no way that he's going to be able to walk away from that without anything going on, even though we all know what the safety has become in the sport. You see that his car left it went up the hill and was just airborne, and then slams into the barrier, and he's like, I'm good, let's go, like, fix my car, motherfuckers, let's do it.
Yeah,
but it's another 57 G's for that to happen. It's tough luck it's tough for these guys when they come to their home race, especially as a rookie. There's so much pressure on them. We saw obviously what happened with Kimi and Imola. When they come to their home race, there's just such intensity around it. I think ultimately he was making a move that kind of wasn't there in a situation that didn't really matter. But because he's in his home race, he's got to make something happen.
Yeah,
he's got to put on a show. He does this thing, and it actually just kind of puts him on the back foot for the whole weekend. He doesn't even do qualifying, and then obviously in the race today has a little touch with Lance Stroll. Tough. And he's out for the race there. But man.
Yeah, he was saying on the interview, he goes, like, post race, he was like, yeah, it's tough. My whole family was here. It's really sad that happened. And I was thinking, maybe your family doesn't come to any more races, because I know if my family was at the races, it would be no bueno for me. Be no bueno. I guess some people can do it, but I think I'd be taking motherfuckers out too and driving the walls too. If my entire family was in the paddock, are you crazy? There was a bit, I think it was his mom and his girlfriend were together. I'm like, what the fuck are they talking about? Get them away from each other.
I mean, since Lando's new run of form, I haven't seen Mama and Papa Norris at many of these races. I think that they might be staying home, and some of this new gear that Lando has found is maybe hey, can everyone fuck off? Everyone, yes. Including the haters, including my family, including everyone, and just let me do my thing. That's definitely maybe playing a little bit of a part of it there. But
and think about all those high school friends that were there. Yeah. Dude. Yeah. I remember how did you used to feel when we used to show up when we came to the Paper Mill Playhouse to see you at Little House on the Prairie?
You want to make sure that those moments hit. You want to make sure you get those laughs. You want to make sure I got people in the crowd tonight. I want to make sure that I give them a show which can make you start doing some dumb shit, which I think is maybe a little bit what happened.
You want to stun on all those girls that didn't talk to you in high school, Yeah,
they were like, go-karting is lame.
Yeah.
Yeah, Gabrielle, go-karting is lame. And now they're like,
my mother texted
awesome.
me. Speaking of family, my mother texted me. Just finished reading an article about an up-and-coming Brazilian F1 racer, Bortoleto. He's very young and quite handsome. What do you think of him? It's great that the Times is featuring F1 more and more. Smiley face. He does look like a nice Jewish boy.
He does.
He would clean up at Temple, dude.
Oh, dude.
On the bar mitzvah circuit, all the moms would love him.
He's tall. I know.
Honestly, he's got the nice curly hair.
He's got that little Jufro.
And the nose?
He does.
He's got a little Jufro.
In that post-race interview,
nose.
I was noticing that. I said, I've seen that. I know that hair. I know that hair very well.
Yep. It would look great with a nice little kippa on top.
That's right.
Yep. So my mom, Bortoleto, you're on my mom's radar. Nice Jewish boy.
Yeah, congratulations.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Another rookie that I wanted to talk about, who we discussed a little bit on the Patreon. If you subscribe to the Patreon, babe. If you want Matt, seriously, if you want more of this and Matt's unhinged reaction to the sprint race, which was the really even more devastating part of this weekend for Piastri Hive, then go tune into the Patreon, patreon.com/TRFpod. But on the Patreon, we were talking about Ollie Bearman's out here making Esteban Ocon look like his son. Ollie Bearman's about to put Esteban Ocon on his lap and burp him because he can't quite handle all the fucking, what Ollie Bearman's out here cooking. Sixth place after a fourth place last time. I mean, come on.
It's where did Esty Bestie finish?
12th, and he went up 8 places. He got knocked out in Q1. And Bearman got into Q3.
Finished 6th.
And finished 6th in the race.
Ooh. Yeah, no, this is a backbreaker for Ocon. He can't be losing to a rookie like this. And I know people are going to say, well, the points are actually not. I'm like, no. And, now that he's the second half, he's got a little more experience. He's been fucking wrecking him. And he's been making this Haas. This is what's crazy, right? If Ocon had like another rando in there that was finishing right behind him, you'd be like, well, the Haas sucks. And we just would be like, Right. But no. This Haas looks like a good car. Like a 5th, 6th place car, like out of the 10.
Yeah.
So now he's making Ocon look like a bump. And everyone thought he was a solid driver. And now, and it's only going to get worse for him next year. It's only Bearman's not going to get worse. He's not going to get less consistent. He's not going to get slower in qualifying. He's not going to get worse at tire prep. He's not going to get clumsier at overtaking. Like this could be the last 2 years of his career. It could be over for. It could be over for him.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think this entire crop of rookies spells a lot of danger for these kind of journeymen. Because I think that this rookie class has been so good, so solid, Even, Kimi's podium today, we've seen what Hadjar can do. Even Lawson, we've seen what he's done. Bearman and Bortoleto, the fact that they've all, had the seasons that they've had, and Cullinan, he's in F1 for another year. Just be happy with that. Because there's not a ton to say about Franco as much as I want there to be things to say. I would love to be talking about how great Franco's doing, but unfortunately, he's not doing great.
What's crazy is when we start glazing these rookies, everyone in the comments goes, "Well, what about Franco Colapinto? Why don't you talk about him?" It's like, you don't want us to talk about him.
Yeah, he has no points. He has 0 points for the year.
And he crashes
has had another round of points again this time. So there's that. But I think that I think that Pierre Gasly is in trouble. I think that Pierre Gasly's taking his lucky fucking stars that he doesn't have a Ollie Bearman on his team, because we saw that last year Ocon and Gasly, they were looking neck and neck. They were looking like even, and it was just Ocon's bad vibe that got him out of there. Yeah. So I think that it's looking a little bit tough for Pierre. I think it's looking tough for Hülkenberg. I think it's looking tough for Ocon, obviously. It should be looking tough for Lance Stroll. We all know that he, there's nothing to ever be tough there for him. I think that Albon and Sainz are safe. Yuki, obviously.
Obviously, yeah. Yeah,
I think if you're one of these teams, I think if you're one of these teams looking at a quote unquote, journeyman experienced driver, and you're seeing what this young crop of talent can do, I think that you're having to think long and hard about like what is worth it and what's the value proposition of keeping a guy versus going with someone from the junior ranks who Max and Bortoleto were talking about the sim, right? They were talking a lot about the sim, and Max was saying on this pod that karting is maybe not all that, and that it's actually more useful doing sim work, and these sim rigs are only getting better and better, and these kids are only starting or younger and younger. So maybe we're seeing this group of young guys coming in off of that emerging technology. They're just getting they're AI replacing the workforce. These kids are AI, it feels like sometimes. Oh, Venkers, this season is heating up. If you had money on Lando Norris at the beginning of the year, you're looking a little bit pretty, but we all know that anything can happen. Max Verstappen is still not out of this thing. Oscar Piastri, he's got to find form in these final few races, and Vegas is coming up, and we don't know what's going to happen. We've only raced at this track twice. George has won there before. Max has won there before. Who's going to take it this year? Guess what? You can put your money on it with BetMGM. And as you know, we've teamed up with BetMGM this season, and we are using BetMGM lines to make all of our picks. And we'll have a special offer for our listeners each week. And if you have not signed up for BetMGM yet, use bonus code DADDY, and you will get up to $1,500 first bet offer on your first wager with BetMGM. Here is how it works. Download the BetMGM app and sign up using bonus code DADDY. Deposit at least $10 and place your first wager on any game. You receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. Just make sure you use the bonus code DADDY when you sign up, because we're fun. BetMGM, make it legendary.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only, subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
Because I know that you must think that you have to spend so many American dollars and spend tons of time in the kitchen to make delicious food at home. Well, guess what? Think again, because when you use Every Plate, you get restaurant-level deliciousness week after week with recipes like crispy buffalo ranch chicken and cheesy Mexican street corn hash. I live in New York City. I've got a tiny apartment. I hate cooking at home. It's just a mess. I don't know what I'm doing. But with Every Plate, I can make clean, efficient dishes. I feel like I'm a Formula One driver with how fucking cleanly I'm taking these corners. And guess what? Not only that, you'll spend less on these flavor-packed homemade meals than you would on your normal groceries or at a restaurant. We all know that eating out is getting insane. Use every plate. Cooking the same things over and over. Up your dinner game in 30 minutes or less with Every Plate's clear, easy to follow recipes. Thanks to Every Plate's constantly rotating weekly recipes delivered right to your door, you'll always have the answer for what's for dinner. So what are you waiting for? Dig into these flavor-packed meals your household will love. New customers can enjoy this special offer for only $1.99 a meal. Okay? Let me say that again. $1.99 a meal. Go to everyplate.com/podcast and use the code REDFLAGS199 to get started. Applied as a discount on your first box. Limited time only, so get it now. $1.99 a meal, baby. That's basically free. They're basically paying you. Don't miss out.
Well, I think we're entering a new crossover point, because I think the older guys, they didn't have as much sim stuff going into F1, but they had more testing. More testing was a lot. You could just test and test and test. So they were really well trained in that way. And I think, the guys sort of in the middle, they were kind of screwed because they didn't have the testing and the sim stuff wasn't as developed. So I think these younger guys, while they don't get as much testing, the simulator stuff is so good that they might have the best of both worlds there. That even though they don't get the testing, they might have an advantage over the guys who didn't get the great testing that the Hamiltons got, that the Alonsos got. That's why Hamilton was able to come in 2007 and be competitive, because he got hours and hours of testing. And I think that now that that's gone, I think the thing that's replaced that is all the simulator time that these kids can get. But yeah, I think that's a big blow for big karting. I would love to see Max. Yeah. I said this on the Patreon, which you guys should subscribe to, because it's really amazing. I've got no skin in the game, no financial incentive there. But if that could be the thing he does when he retires, is to just take on the karting industry and just say, actually, no, what they did in that movie with David Harbour, who's Madeline. What was that movie called? What was that movie called?
Gran Turismo.
Gran Turismo. If he could do Gran Turismo on a larger scale, that would be really neat. If he could,
I think that's what he's trying to do. That's what that's what a lot of his initiatives are about. Is that he's trying to do that. I can't help though but feel like there's he's trying to fix something from his childhood with this thing. He's like, actually, you don't need to go karting. Actually, you don't need to be in the.
Actually, you don't need to be in the freezing cold and the rain, while all the other kids are drinking hot cocoa.
Yeah. That's right. Actually, you don't need your dad yelling at you when you're a 10th off and lying to you about what the timings were because he's got a little stupid stopwatch and he's making you feel like shit about yourself. Maybe you can just do it. You can be in the comfort of your own home.
And your dad doesn't even understand what's happening.
Yeah.
Just be all by yourself. That is so fucking funny. No, you're totally right. You're totally right.
He's trying to heal the inner child there, dude. He's trying to heal that inner child, dude. Pay it forward.
No long drives home from the sim.
Yeah, that's right.
No,
that's
6-hour road trips, all over Europe with the sim.
Yeah.
No, that's true. Yeah. And I think what's crazy is Max is not that young. He's 27, 28. So I watched the sort of video games that he played. Like there's clips of him playing. He's playing N64 level, primitive video games. You can't even imagine what the next Max Verstappen is 4 or 5 years old and on a pro rig.
Yes.
We think about the setup that Max's kid is going to have.
Right.
Think about what Lily can have if she wants it, right?
Right.
I mean, crazy. So that's pretty scary to think about.
Yeah, it definitely feels like it is feeling like New World Order is kind of coming with this young crop. Even Kim, it's and there was that moment, obviously, with the restart, you're seeing aspects of the rookiness there. But we've given a lot of flack to Kimi this year. But at the end of the day, all through the weekend, he had, he was in more control than George Russell, certainly.
Well, I think it's kind of one of those things where, it's kind of interesting. Like, I can hit a chip shot 1 in a million times. I can hit a chip shot like a PGA golfer, but it's like you know what I mean? But it's like 1 in a million times. And like, obviously when he is in the window, he could be better than George, but it's just not like, he's got to like expand. That's the difference between him and George Russell right now, is like George Russell is on it more often than he is. But clearly when he's on it, he got the pole in Miami. And he outperformed George this week. So clearly, when it's there, it's great. But it's just, although I do think he could have. Obviously, that was, I think, he was a little bit culpable on that restart. He got caught with his pants down,
definitely.
and he didn't quite handle it perfectly. But
it's interesting.
There,
also, all the races where he has done well have been the kind of little bit of like the wrench throwy races. Like, there was this assumption that Kimi would be great in the tracks where he had raced before, but for like, he's done well on sprint weekends. Miami was a sprint weekend. This was another sprint weekend. And he's kind of, when he almost like when he doesn't bring his past history into it is when he can excel, because sometimes it's like, well, this is what I did in Formula 2. This is what I did in Formula 4, at this track. And I'm and then this is a wiping the slate clean. This is a whole other thing, which kind of speaks to, honestly, a little bit what Max was saying with the karting. He was like, not a lot of this stuff translates to the next level, where he's like, some of the sim stuff actually does translate a lot more. It's a bit more of a one-to-one with regards to, single seaters. Or
Brian, does this, what this made me think of? And I wanted to run this by you because you know better than I do. What this translates for me is like, sometimes actors are really good in a cold read. Like when they're just getting the script for the first time, it's like, okay, here's a script, go. And you got the script in front of you, and you're just reacting to the words for the first time. Like the words are actually playing on you because you actually don't know the script, and you're reading the lines and you're just feeling the lines as they hit you, which is literally how real people are. The lines are just coming to you, so it feels natural. And then once you go home and you rehearse it and you go over it 1,000 times, then it starts to become rote and you start to be robotic. And it's actually like, sometimes it's actually, and I don't know about you, Brian, but sometimes it's actually easier to be good in a cold read than to like set it, forget it, and like to actually memorize and prepare and like have it all locked in. So in like these chaotic weekends, it might actually be easier for someone like Kimi to just be dropped in and just go because he's such a natural talent. Whereas like someone like Oscar Piastri might struggle more, or or George Russell, who's like a real nerd. Like these nerds might struggle more in these sort of, they like to rehearse, they like to memorize their lines, they like to. Whereas other guys, they like to just fucking wing it. How does that play for you? I think
that totally makes sense in my mind. I think that's also what we've heard Lando kind of talk about in the last few weeks as well. Is like, I don't look at the deltas. I don't like when he said like, I don't know why that happened. I don't know why it was so good. Like, I think that like he's a guy who he wants to be all feel and be very present. And I think, the more that he's in his head and the more that Lando Norris is thinking about what he's doing, the worse Lando Norris gets. So like the best thing that can happen with Lando Norris is that he's not thinking at all and just let that, raw talent do what it does, honestly. Because I'm curious what your let's talk about Oscar before we get into our awards, because, this whole year he's seemed unflappable. And, the last however many races, I mean, I'm looking since the Netherlands, he's gotten third. He had the Baku race. He had third in Monza. He had the Baku race. That was obviously, a weekend from hell for him. Fourth in Singapore, fifth at Coda, fifth in Mexico, and now fifth in Brazil. It seems to me like he's totally in his head. That Oscar
I got
is
2 words
now
for you, Brian.
over. Yes.
I got 2 words for you, Brian. Can you guess what they are?
Sabotage?
No.
What?
That'd be when I get the hat on. Although Jos Verstappen, I love this. Jos, Jenny, can you pull the Jos says some shit that I love. While Jenny's pulling that quote about how McLaren is pulling some shit on Oscar.
Okay.
Jenny, can you find that, please? Thank you. Erectile dysfunction.
Okay.
You can't. Sometimes sometimes there's in life you can't get it up. Ladies, just go with me on this. Sometimes you can't get it up.
What do you mean? What do you mean? They know it better than fucking you do. They're like, yeah, we fucking seen that shit firsthand.
Okay. Ladies, you know what I'm talking about.
Not all ladies. We've got many fans of all different kinds. We've got the fellas and the ladies.
Okay, whoever knows what I'm talking about knows what I'm talking about. People who have been around dicks.
Talk about dicks.
Know what I'm talking about.
Yeah. Talk about dicks.
From my side, it can happen for whatever reason. You're tired, you get stress, but and I'm not blaming the other person, but it could be because of something you do or something the other person does. But then you're like, you start to doubt yourself. Mm-hmm. Then the next time you try, another time, you think about the last time.
Right.
You're like, oh, it didn't work last time. And then you're less likely for it to happen the second time. And then it doesn't happen a second time. And then I'm just explaining that. And then watch me go. And then you haven't had an erection for 8 years. No.
Right.
No, but I guess it's happened to me before where it's like, you start to think about the last 2 times and you start getting in your head. And then the third time, and then the 100th time.
Right.
No, but I think that's a little bit what happened. He was rock hard, and then he had 1 and then 2, and then he's thinking about the other 2. And when it's like, dude, don't worry about those 2. Don't even think of it.
Right.
And I don't think McLaren has been good at dealing with his erectile dysfunction.
Yes, that's right.
That's where the sabotage comes in. It isn't. Mm-hmm. It isn't that they're fucking up his car. It's like that they're not helping him with his erectile dysfunction. They're hitting him. They're hitting him with the. Well, this has never happened. They're hitting him with the lines that sometimes you get hit with. This has never happened before. I've never been with a guy that's done this.
They say this doesn't happen.
You don't think I'm pretty? Is it because you're not attracted to me? That's what they're hitting him with. They're hitting.
They say this isn't happening with Lando. This isn't happening with Lando. It's actually happening with you.
Lando seems to get hard. Right in FP1. Right in FP1 he gets hard. And we know this from the past that even when Oscar gets rock hard in Q3, he doesn't get hard in FP1. He doesn't get hard in FP2. He needs a lot of fluffing. He needs a lot of fluffing. Okay? He needs, even though he gives very stoic, I think he needs a strong, he needs to feel like he's got a strong foundation underneath him.
Right.
And they're not working with him. They're not saying, hey, what if we try lambskin condoms? What if we try the ultra thins? What if we try this? What if we try that?
It's okay.
Nothing.
It's okay. This happens. It's all right. This happens. I think Lando has the opposite. Lando has the opposite problem. Lando has the opposite problem where Lando just finishes.
He gets really hard
quickly.
And he comes in his pants.
Yeah, exactly. These are the 2 things.
Yes.
And what you could argue is which would you rather have? I would, I'd rather have. Okay, well, but now I'm playing into the toxicity. So you know what? Let's everything's fixable and everything's workable if you have the right attitude and you have the right environment. No, I think that. I don't know. What do you think that he needs? What do you think? Our friend over at Podium Sundays. By the way, if you haven't yet, we've teamed up with Podium Sundays and we are raising money for SNAP benefits because the United States government is a fucking mess, and so the F1 motorsport community has raised, I think at this point, over $63,000. which I was shocked by. Didn't know we had it like that. Let's go. Didn't know that we were rolling so deep pockets of this F1 community. So we're going to have a link to that in our bio. We've matched Podium Sunday's donation of $500. We'd be thrilled if you gave some money to that, help feed people in America because our government's fucking not doing it. So we have to do it ourselves. But she was talking about how Oscar needs to, like, she was kind of giving him a pep talk. Like, you gotta buck up. You gotta fucking ignore. You gotta get your head right. And I think what you're speaking to a little bit is that what I think maybe we recognize, as much as we think that Oscar, because of the whole Alpine situation, that he's just bred for the fire. Yes. I think that what we're seeing here is that he's a young kid who is sensitive to environment, and he maybe needs to find that fuck you mentality. He needs to kind of find an enemy here and click into another gear. What do you think that Oscar needs? That's what I think.
Well, okay. So my girlfriend, she is a therapist, but she's studying sex therapy right now.
Okay, great.
So actually, she's actually discussed some of the things she's learned in the sex therapy book. We might have to blur some of this out. But anyway, she was talking to me about this thing called sensate focus. Okay. And it's about, practicing. And this woman, she works at the Johnson Masters and Johnson Institute. I don't know if you've seen that.
Yes. Masters of Sex.
Masters of Sex. Okay, so this woman, she wrote this. She and I was looking up sensate focus, and it's not just for sex; it's for any kind of anxiety. It's sort of it's talking about meditation, and it's about practicing mindfulness, being present, breathing, sort of, and it's shown to be 70-80% effective with people with erectile dysfunction, but also and women with problems down there as well. Sure. And I think that's
what is it?
Mindfulness shit.
Right.
Sensate focus. It's a whole book. So let's look up what sensate focus is. Let's say sensate focus. Sensate focus is a sex therapy technique that uses structured. Okay, this is all fucked up. Cut this whole thing. I thought it was
exercises to improve communication, reduce performance anxiety, and increase intimacy. It is a mindfulness-based practice where partners take turns touching and being touched, with strong emphasis on focusing on the sensations of touch, temperature, pressure, texture, without the pressure to perform or reach a specific sexual outcome. Key rules include no pressure, no sexual performance, and a focus on enjoying the process and communication. Okay, yeah, that's obviously with a one goal in mind, but the idea of kind of the sensations of being in the cockpit and maybe rewiring your brain and as to be able to just be as present as you can. Because I think, I think with all high performance, right? Performing at the top level, at a certain point, it's this is what they say to a lot of actors, or if you do a play, You'll rehearse, and then it's time to actually on the day do the thing. You're on camera, you're doing the thing, and what they all say is, you've done the homework, now throw it away, and you have to trust the 10,000 hours that you've put in, and you have to trust all the work that you've done to this point, and trust that you will make the right decisions and be present in that moment. And I think that that's probably a little bit what Oscar has lost in these last few weeks, as he's let maybe his environment get to him, for whatever reason, whatever the reason might be. He doesn't fully seem like he's operating on all cylinders and firing on all cylinders in that car.
No,
and
I think you're right.
He needs to get back to just being as present as he can be and trusting that he is good enough to get the job done, which I think honestly is based off what Lando's said and the vibe. It seems like that is the jump that he has made, or that is the kind of shift that he's made with his mentality, is kind of just like tuning it out and trusting that he will do it on the day. And I think Oscar needs that, because that if he's going to win this championship, he's going to need that in spades now, because we've only got 3 races left. I don't know how this McLaren's going to be in Vegas, which maybe is a big opportunity for Oscar. Like, maybe this McLaren's kind of a mess in Vegas. Maybe Max actually has like an edge, because historically this is the type of track where Max has been good. This should be a track where Mercedes is good. It's going to be cold, night race, all this shit. There is a world where this McLaren is kind of a mess in Vegas, and if Oscar can put in a great performance and, you know, get a podium, and Lando has some bad luck or is in his head or whatever it is, he can be right back in this thing.
Yeah. It's just, I've said it before. I think I think it's a confidence issue, but it's also that thing that you're talking about is even harder to do if you don't feel, whether it's true or not, if you don't feel like the people around you have your best interests at heart or are fully behind you. So, you know, if you think the director is actually like wanting the understudy to be in there, or, you know, whatever it is, right, then it's a little bit harder. It just makes, it's not saying it's impossible, but I think it just makes that job that much harder. And sure.
Can I say something about for that same mentality? I could argue that is the mind fuck that the last year and a half Lando's had to get over, because Lando thought that he was, you know, number one boy without even a shadow of a doubt at McLaren. And then as Oscar last year found form, he won his first sprint race before Lando ever did. And, you know, the whole situation last year in Hungary, and even going into this year where it's the 2 number 1 drivers, I think that Lando in his head this isn't actually as safe of a place, as much as Piastri Nation wants to say that they just love Lando and whatever. I think from Lando's POV, he was like, wait, like, I've been here for so long, and now all of a sudden, like, I'm not getting the calls. I'm not being treated like Red Bull treats Max Verstappen. Last year, this, like, you know, like, we didn't prioritize me because Oscar was still technically in it, and Mark Webber's in the background making sure that, like, this doesn't happen and whatever it is. I think that, like, that was a head fuck for him probably, and he had to kind of tune aspects of that out in order to find his form.
Well, I think they're actually in a unique position right now. I mean, thankfully for McLaren, Max is kind of out of it. So they're not in the most extreme version of this, but there's a chance that McLaren is actually going to get in a situation where neither of them are really that happy. Because even if Lando wins, because I think you're right. I think even though I think Oscar Piastri fans will feel this way to a greater degree, I think they slightly favor. I think, you know, Zach Brown probably slightly favors Lando, and you know, Stella probably slightly favors Oscar. You know, from Lando's point of view, he's probably like, well, you should have favored me fucking more. Like, this is ridiculous that it's even close, right? That this is even close, and he probably is a little still butthurt over 2024, right? So wait a minute. You didn't back me in 2024, but now 2025 we're all even. Like, what? Like, what's happening? Well, I guess that's consistent, but he's whatever. These guys are narcissists. Well, I think it's harder to go.
I think it is. I think it's like they're their own challenges, right? Where it's just like sometimes it's harder to like go from the most love. It's like having being an only child, and all of a sudden you have a sibling. You know, like Lando, for those 2 years that Danny Rick was there.
Yes.
It was like, because he had the form, it was like, finally, I'm the only child here. Yay.
Yes.
Like, finally, like, and now all of a sudden I have to share my toys with him. What the fuck? Yeah. That could be, you know, it's from a place of privilege, but it is, you know, it's its own, coming down the ladder can sometimes be just as hard. We were talking about what Jos Verstappen said, and then we'll get into our awards, but Jos Verstappen, has said that the McLaren situation is, quote, quite strange, specifically regarding Oscar Piastri's drop in form, and advised him to, quote, stand up for himself internally. He has questioned what has happened to make the Australian season unravel so quickly. I find it quite strange what's happening at McLaren, he said. Piastri can't suddenly have forgotten how to drive, right? If I were him or his manager, I'd bang my fist on the table internally, because right now everyone is wondering whether he can handle the pressure, and that's not good for your reputation. Piastri's reputation in this case. So
that's his advice to Mark Webber. Bang the table. That'll swing the championship in Oscar's favor. Oh shit, he banged the table.
Yeah, I mean, he's also just stirring shit. I mean, he's like just trying to, they're just trying to just sow discord over at McLaren in whatever way they can for Max to have the outside chance of actually winning this championship.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. All right, let's go to our awards. Hottest moment of the day.
For me, it has to be when Max was leading the race. I was just so happy. I was so happy. What about you?
Yeah, I think though that final moment where Max was chasing Kimi and Oscar was chasing George, just like at the end we got these two guys. It fucking didn't happen, but at one point Kimi kind of went wide, and I thought Max had him, and he was, darting to the inside trying to make Kimi fuck up. But just like that end of that race was a thrill. So those two kind of coming down to the wire battles at the end there, to me, very, very sexy. Daddy of the day.
It's between Max or Lando.
Well, why don't you give it to Max and I'll give it to Lando? Why don't you give me the Max daddy?
Well, I got to go Max because he started from the pit lane, was sent back because he had started from the pit lane, got a puncture, and still finished with a fucking podium, just making all these guys look like a bunch of Bush League assholes. It's crazy. He really is that much better than everybody else. And even in Brazil last year, it's like, well, it was in the wet. We don't know. Even though like the wet is just like where everybody's exposed. But even I think it was David Coulthard was saying that like that car might have just been better in the wet. You actually don't know, but it's like, dude, this was in the fucking dry when there were overtakes, but not that many.
No.
It wasn't like this was overtake city. And he was just fucking. I still don't really understand
how he did it. Honestly, like I need to go back and see every single one of Max's overtakes because I'm like, how the fuck did he pull that off? Even at the beginning of the race, like because he started in the pit lane, like he wasn't even. There wasn't even around on those opening laps. I mean, I think he was helped out by the safety cars and by the VSCs because they bunched up the crews, and he was able to kind of get a few of those restarts. But it still does not make sense to me because I'm even looking at his fucking tire strategy. I'm like, how does this equal last to third? This get it. This no compute.
Yeah. Also, Leclerc being assassinated helped.
Right. Yeah. Of course.
But
Piastri's penalty obviously helped. And Lewis's, there was a bunch of chaos that happened in front of him that helped out his case. But no, he's still 100% that bitch. But if I may, I'm giving Daddy of the Day to one Lando fucking Norris. Okay? My guy, my boy, is now leading this fucking championship by 24 points after a DNF that happened in Zandvoort. He's come back. He's in fine fucking form. And this year, my faith has gone up. My faith has gone down. I'm still not 100% that he's going to win this championship, but I am proud of this kid's fucking performance, especially in Brazil, given what happened last year when his title dreams were fucking ripped away from him in Brazil when he thought that this was his chance to win that championship. After Brazil, there's this quote. He didn't sleep for like 26 something fucking hours for him to come back and dominate qualifying, dominate the sprint, dominate the actual fucking race, nail every start. I mean, is he on Max Verstappen's level? Absolutely not. This is still Max Verstappen's world, and Lando is living in it. But from what I've seen week to week, he is slowly becoming daddy. So, Lando, keep doing your fucking thing. Oscar, I hope you fucking can fucking band together and give us a fucking fun title battle to the end. I want this shit to come down to Abu Dhabi, and I want Oscar to be at his full fighting form, because it does feel a little bit hollow. That feels like Lando's like excelling while Oscar is retreating. That doesn't feel as good. You want people to be at like full strength. But right now, Lando's at full fucking strength, and I'm liking what I'm seeing. Daddy of the day, Lando Norris. Okay. What else? Radio of the day. Were there that many?
It's gotta be
radios today. Oh,
Isaac yelling every week at his radio engineers.
Yes.
And then they were like, okay, remain calm. Don't worry. This, that, and the other thing. And then he was like, okay, don't yell at me.
Yeah.
Don't yell at me. I mean, did you not feel triggered? Like you just zap back to your most toxic relationship.
Yes.
I mean, that's happened to everybody in a toxic relationship. Yeah. He started with, my God. Oh, he was like, oh my God. And they're like, remain calm. Everything's fine. He's like, stop yelling at me.
Yeah. Like, we're just trying to meet you where you're at, bro. You're yelling all the time. All you do is yell. So we're just trying to meet you there. It was so funny. It's full gaslighting. He fully gaslit. It's like, you can't
you can't scream at somebody.
You have to yell. What's wrong with you guys? You can just talk to me normal.
Okay, psycho.
Yeah.
Okay, psycho. Fucking yelling at me.
Okay, crazy. Okay, crazy.
I can't talk to you when you're like this. I won't.
Yeah,
I won't. It's unprofessional. That was amazing.
Seriously.
My other favorite radio, and this was just funny to me, was when Kimi Antonelli's Bono, when Max was coming up on Kimi, and he just went, I'll leave you to it. I thought there was nothing inherently wrong with it, but I just heard, you're on your own.
Yeah. Nothing I can do now, bitch.
Nothing I can do. Yeah.
Fucking good
you're on
luck.
Your own.
Good luck, motherfucker. Karen of the day. I mean, Hadjar could be.
What? Who could be the? Who?
It could be Hadjar. I mean,
Lando saying. Jenny suggests Lando saying he needs to talk with the team about making the car faster.
That's right. Fucking never enough.
Yeah, you're like, it's a Rorschach test. It's like, oh, he's a bitch, or it's like, Kobe. Yeah. Job not finished.
Yeah, exactly.
Job not finished. You should have won by 30.
Job not finished.
Should have won with job not finished.
I have to commend Oscar, if I'm honest. Well, I don't know. Well, this is interesting. It's like Oscar kind of like, I don't know if they played a radio of him reacting to the 10-second penalty, but I don't know. He just like kind of had seemed like he had kind of no reaction there. Certainly nothing worthy of playing on air. But if that had happened to Max Verstappen, I mean,
George Russell would have been dead.
I mean, Max would have, they would have been like batting down the fucking hatches. George Russell, Max Verstappen would have had none of it, dude. Would have had none of it. And Oscar just kind of.
No, I'm saying Max, well, we know what happened. Last time he got a penalty he didn't like, he crashed into George Russell.
Right. Yeah.
That was a lot. And that's why they don't want to give him penalties.
Right.
That's why he rarely gets them, because he has such a hissy fit. And they don't want to deal with it. And that's maybe they should take a page out of Max's book. Some of these people. Yeah, but you could hear Oscar on the radio a little bit. He was like, "Talk to me, Goose. Tell me something, because it's looking pretty fucking bleak out here."
It's like, so what's the plan? He said that at one point. So what are we doing? I'm gonna give Oscar Piastri the anti-Karen of the day. I honestly wish he was a little bit more of a Karen today. I think he's lost a little bit of that fight. I want him to be a little bit more of a Karen. He needs to start yelling at some motherfuckers,
asserting himself
to make it right. That's, I think, maybe a little bit what Yas is saying with that.
I want to speak to the manager. Manager.
Red flag of the day. FIA.
Yeah, I mean,
10-second penalty.
There wasn't a lot. 10-second penalty for Oscar. I mean, Yuki getting a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, Yuki and another 10-second penalty.
I think the FIA. I mean, I don't know if Yuki one might have been justified, but just the FIA just giving
right. Well, also the double 5-second penalty was kind of fucking random.
For Bearman and Liam just seemed fucking stupid.
Yeah.
The FIA.
I thought that even Leclerc was like, when Leclerc said, I think that Kimi was as much to blame for it as anyone else. I'm like, all right, well, you did this in his name, basically. You were like, well, we need justice for Charles, and Charles out here is like, well, he's wrong justice actually. So at that point, it is what it is. I want to shout out. Did you see this moment in this pre-race thing where they were riding on these little cars, these little almost like souped up old timey
little
go-karts,
saloon cars or whatever they are. Yeah,
the little saloon cars. And then I don't know what happened, but somehow George Russell is on the back of the Red Bull car with Max Verstappen as Yuki Tsunoda is driving. I guess his and the Mercedes car broke down, so they had to jump on one of them. But, for all of it was nice to see mom and dad. It's like when your divorced parents are like at your graduation and they're like getting along. It's nice to see those two boys kind of palling it up.
Yeah, I would have left him on the side of the road if I was Max. George would have.
Well, especially after the Ted Kravitz book, we found out that George was like, Ted, ask me. I got something hot for you. Ask me about Max. But he prompted Ted. Yeah, he told Ted, like, I got something, so ask me about it. I got something ready. I got something locked and loaded. Because he lashes out with anger, borderline violence. But no, it was nice to see mom and dad kind of getting along.
I was a little worried seeing them so precariously perched together.
Like they were going to fight? Close proximity?
The one of them would have just tipped the other. Oops.
I was also like, Yuki Tsunoda, we're putting these guys' lives in the hand of Yuki Tsunoda behind the wheel. What's going on?
Someone's gonna get hurt at one of these things with these Lego races. These guys take these dumb little car things way too seriously. They get racy with the Lego cars. They get racy with these little saloon cars. There's no Hans device. They're not wearing helmets. I mean, we went to Vegas.
They're literally in more danger doing these like little pre-race things, and they are literally driving the F1 cars.
These things are way more dangerous because these guys are very competitive. They're not wearing any safety equipment. I remember we went to a Vegas thing where they were racing these hover cars.
Yeah.
And Max and Checo were racing Daniel Ricciardo and Yuki Tsunoda. And the hover car, Max's hover car like got stuck and Max, I think either Checo was driving or Max, I can't remember, they were like double teaming the car.
Yeah.
And Max, it wasn't turning, and Max like stuck out I saw this with my own fucking eyes. Max stuck out his leg like Fred Flintstone and was pushing this massive thing to try to get it to turn, to rotate.
Yeah.
And I was there. It was there. We were like Oppenheimer. We were like viewing it from like a while, like with binoculars, viewing it from a while back. There's a bunch of Red Bull people there. Bunch of PR people, and you could just hear the fucking sphincters just tightened.
Yeah.
When they saw him stick his fucking leg out. His $900 million leg to try to turn this fucking stupid thing in this race that doesn't mean anything. And it was like, oh my God, he could hurt himself in the dumbest way.
I know.
And yeah, I could totally, I guarantee you in the next 20 years, this is going to happen. One of these guys is going to hurt themselves and we're going to lose these things forever. We're not going to have it anymore.
I know.
It's going to happen. Someone's going
to break their fucking leg.
Someone's going to break or fall out or, because they're too competitive.
Yeah. No, it's actually
and some of these guys, it's their only chance to get racy.
It's kind of the classic way that you get hurt, honestly, is that like you think you're just fucking around and like you get a little bit, you have the illusion of safety because it's like, these are just little fucking cars, but those cars were moving. Yeah. Those cars were moving and they're sitting on the fucking back seat. And I'm like, all it takes is just like one little move and someone's falling out of that shit, breaking an elbow, getting a concussion, whatever it is. And meanwhile, Gabriel Bortoleto can like fly into the barriers at 150 miles an hour and walk away scot-free because they're actually like doing the quote unquote dangerous thing. And this other thing that's supposed to be the fun thing, it's actually, we're just turning into Jewish mothers. That's just all. That's all that this is. Vegas is coming up. We will be there. Who you putting your money on? Who you betting on with BetMGM? Oh, shit. Let's go.
Oscar Max Lando. Let's go, Oscar. Come on.
That would be big.
Don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
That would be big. I am going Max, George, Lando. That's my podium. We'll see who's right. Fucking A. Well, this pod would not be possible. We wouldn't be able to have these Delulu takes without our Patreon members. So we got to thank our daddies of the pod. We got to thank Kayla, Robin, Jordan Chixera, Jay Lingle, Spencer Grieve, Javier Mera, Sheila Valeri, Chandler, Alice Santana, Carla, Kimberly, Huelen, Alonso, My Face 69, Dunya Denad, Deadbeat Daddy Muhammad, Jimmy, Kimmy, sponsored by Mommy of the Pod, Hollister 584, Delusional Science Fan, Kat, Future Dog Tour, Dion, Steph Grossi, JB Fresh, Laura, Emily Gillenwater, Cody Hull is my F1 daddy, Branch W, Keep Up the Science Hate, Hunter Scruggs, Salmonella Mozzarella, I'm a Leclerc fan, and yes, it hurts, Jay Kess, George Russell is Evil Peter Parker from Spider-Man 3. Matt Edwards is always right. I wish I was Max and Danny's love child. Delaney Andrews, Henry Caskey, Miles Lewis Alexander, Maggie B, Kaylee Breyer, Eve with a Y, Devin, aka the future Dr. Sullivan's PA, Courtney Frazier, Yuki Sonoda's other mother. Jenny is the reason I am a daddy. Megan, Aaron, Pineapple with a Y. Matt has a secret boner for Carlos Sainz. Unfortunately, it's Gary. Carolina. My name is AJ and fuck the HOA. K-Mag can fuck smash my door any day. The official F1 race program and its executive editor, Sarah. I got tickled by the Tifosi. Hey, Jet, good luck out there. Allison Sane, Zhuzh, F1 Dude Company, Trent Slickman, Code Brown Sonoda, Jerome Ferreira, Colapinto is a fraud, Aaron, Shahid, Jeans Rockster, Chohun, Shake and Bake, Cata Lick My Balls, Stay Fierce, Charles Leclerc, Truth Bringer, Mama Burns, Arthur Leclerc is hotter, Carlos Sainz, OP Goblin, right? Meow, James, DNCTT, Finney, Daddy, Kev, Not Magnuson, Mike, Bavi, Lando Norris's unofficial girlfriend, Winkin, future co-host of Red Flags podcast, and Lizzie Y, honorary daddy pod this week, every week. One, Nicole Piastri. Nicole, we love you. Oscar's going to get through this. If you want to be a daddy of the pod, on patreon.com/TRFpod and join the resistance today. Okay, Vegas, we will see you next week. Goodbye.
Goodbye, Vegas.